everybody, and welcome to the Blues Not 2 channel. And after almost 5.5 months of wait and just some crazy off-season that has been in the MLS and certainly for the San Jose Earthquakes, the new season is about to happen. It is going to happen this Saturday. The countdown is on. We're just down to 5 days before the Quakes play against Minnesota United. So, like I did last season, right before the first game of the season, I decided to do a season preview, and that is exactly what this video is about. And by the way, I actually have sort of a new setup in terms of my microphone. If you guys watched my video last time, I talked about how I was going to get a new mic just to trying to not use my webcam as my microphone. My old microphone is broken, and I actually just bought this one today. This is actually a temporary kind of fix for me because I was thinking about buying the new one, but then I just thought, you know what, I'm not just gonna spend like $130. I just don't have the budget right now, so I just bought a pretty cheap $40 one. It's not as good as the one that I have that is currently broken, but is at least a little bit better than the webcam that I have. If you watch my video from the Blues Not 2 channel when I use the webcam microphone a lot, you know how bad it was, the quality of my sound. But either way, let's actually talk about this season. And once again, we are coming into this season kind of like what we are last season, where there is a lot of optimism, there's a lot of excitement in terms of, the off-season that we made. And I'll tell you what, this off-season, this has been the busiest off-season that I have ever seen the Quakes gone through of my 5 years following them. Well, actually 4 years technically, but and it might be even the busiest offseason that they had in history. I don't remember the last time we signed so many players and we also let go of so many players. You kind of expected this too. We're under a new regime right now. This is basically a new era of Quakes soccer, and it's pretty much like this is kind of like the second season of this very deep rebuild. And I am actually really happy the fact that we decided to continue this rebuild, because I would think that, like, some people would say that us making the playoff last season was, it was great that we finally ended the drought, but it kind of feels like we still need something to work on, and we need to kind of like keep moving. And I was hoping the front office can actually make that commitment and just continue to push on. Like I said, I'm happy we made the playoffs, but we still had a lot to fix. And the front office rewards us with a very busy offseason. And I already mentioned a lot of different signings. I already react to so many signings this season. But in case if you're new to my channel, basically we signed a lot of players. We first signed this guy called Joel Queberg. He is a left back. He's from the Swedish league. And by the way, we signed a couple of players from the Swedish league because we actually have a new manager now. Chris Leach is no longer the manager of the Quakes. Thank God for that, because I didn't think that he will push us forward during this season. And we got this guy called Michael Starhay, depending on how you want to pronounce his first name and last name. And obviously he is a Swedish manager. He used to manage in the Swedish league, so it's understandable why he decided to sign a couple of guys, bring in a couple of Swedish player from the Swedish league, because he knows those players a lot. As a fire truck in the background is just kind of annoying. Just ignore that. Nothing really bad happened. But yeah, we first signed Joel Queber, and then we brought in another Swedish player. We brought in another Swedish striker called Magnus Eriksson, and he was actually our designated player. I think that's our fourth designated player that we brought in. And technically, you're supposed to only have 3 DPs, but I think what we were trying to do there was probably just get the 4th DP and then potentially buy someone down. And it turns out we didn't actually even buy anybody out. We literally just got rid of one of our DP, and Lord and behold, it is finally happened. We finally got rid of Simon Dawkins this offseason. I was actually going to make a kind of kind of review, or not review, but a reaction to Simon Dawkins finally leaving the Quakes and finally getting released. But yeah, I probably would have put some copyrighted music on there, so I don't want to kind of do that. But I'm so relieved that he is finally gone. That move has just been so long overdue. The fact that we finally got rid of him, and that we kind of now just can just don't have to worry about paying him so much money when, for majority of the last couple of seasons, he's been on the bench a lot. I mean, we're like the only team in the league that put one of our DP player on the bench always. I mean, it was just kind of ridiculous, but thank goodness we got rid of him. And sticking with the players that we also got rid of, we also got rid of a couple of guys that, is part of the old regime. We got rid of David Bingham, which, David Bingham has not been happy ever since he of course, was shipped out to the Galaxy. And more on that on a video that I just did a couple of days ago. You can go check it out. And we also got rid of Darvin Sarin. We also got rid of Victor Bernardes. We basically got rid of the dead weight, pretty much. And I'm so happy that we finally got rid of it, because it was clear these guys would just not fit in terms of us moving into this new direction. And I think we also, and to replace those guys, we also replaced a couple of those guys. I think Eriksson is probably going to be like a replacement of Darvin Sarin, even though Sarin, Sarin is a midfielder. I think he plays in the right mid, and Eriksson is more like a right winger, so it gives us a little bit more kind of favor in terms of going on the attacking end. And then, of course, we also, throughout this season, have signed a couple of young stars. We also been signing a lot of our guys from the academy. We got that guy. We got a U17. Well, he isn't a U17. Sorry, he just got called up from the U17. But we got this guy called Gilbert Frunes, if that's how you pronounce his last name. And then we got that Jacob A guy, and I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce his last name. So we have got a couple of guys from the academy, and we also got a couple of guys from the second tier. We got Eric Carvalho, who used to play for the Cosmo, and then we also got 3 players from our affiliates. We got Chris Wayhan, Jimmy Ockford, and Luis Felipe from Reno 1868. And I think the most likely those players are just going to be like kind of like part of the depth for us. They're probably not going to be the starters or maybe on the bench. They're probably just going to be like just going to be on the bench in case if something goes wrong. And that's another thing that I also want to mention about this season and why it's just so I'm so happy that we actually finally have some depth on our team. I think last season, when we actually had that really bad injury crisis where we had a lot of guys out, we had absolutely no answer for replacing those starters, and our depth was definitely not very good at all. And the fact that this offseason, when we addressed this situation with our depth chart all around all around the starting 11, I'm pretty happy with that, because now I don't have to worry about how, I don't have to worry if we have a guy goes down that it's going to be a really big miss, because we already have another guy we have another guy on the bench and ready to replace him as it goes. But yeah, so those are pretty much most of our signings. Oh, and I didn't even mention about how we also signed a couple of young players too. We signed a homegrown player called JT Marcinkowski, which I think he's now with Reno. I don't think he's with the team anymore, which I was a little bit surprised. I thought he was potentially the backup goalkeeper for Andrew Tarbell. And we also got this guy called Jefferson Quintana. He was originally linked with the Red Bulls, but we of course signed him, and he of course will be part of that back line, in that kind of back line that I think that probably is kind of like a replacement of Victor Bernardes, who we of course let go. And we also got Paul Murray from the Super Draft. He potentially will be kind of like a depth for Nick Lima, and I'm very glad that we actually signed, or not signed, but got a guy in the offseason that is played in the fullback position, because the fullback position for us has been, it's our biggest weakness right now. I mean, besides Nick Lima, we do not have any legit fullback on our team. So to get a guy called Paul Murray, who I think he's okay. He's you know, when I saw him play in the preseason, he looks okay. He isn't like, definitely not as good as Lima, but he's definitely all right. He's definitely much better than our previous fullback. I'm talking to you, Kofi Sarkodie, and also Cordell Cato, which those two are also the guys that we got rid of. And I also heard Cordell Cato is actually heading to he's actually doing a trial with the LA Galaxy. So yeah, that of course is another player we sell to the LA Galaxy. I don't know why we just keep doing this. Like, first it's David Bingham, and now potentially it's going to be Cordell Cato. But, you know, they were part of the old regime. So I'm happy that we get rid of any guys that does not fit in this new regime, and that was pretty much the priority throughout this offseason. Now, heading into this new season and what I kind of expect with this team. Now, in terms of my expectation for this team going forward, you know, my expectation is that we at least make the playoffs, because that's the first priority. If we miss the playoffs, then I really feel like this season was an absolute failure, and really that will slow down our rebuilding process. But if I want to aim a little bit higher, I would say that maybe we can finish the season in the top 4. I know it might sound crazy, the fact that, you know, with this team that is there's just so many different players, and really by the time when we play against Minnesota, there's going to be some new faces in the team. So I just felt like, you know, this might be a high expectation, but at least if we finish the top 4, we can at least have one game at Avaya, and that's been one of the things that I was really hoping we can finally have. I mean, it's been almost 4 years or 3 years since Avaya Stadium has opened, and it has still not hosted a single playoff game, and hopefully we can end that drought just like what we did with last season when we ended our 5-year playoff drought, which was tied the longest in the league. And actually, speaking of the new faces and also kind of like what to expect in the beginning of the game, I'll probably get into more of that in my Quakes preview video between the Quakes and Minnesota. But for me, you know, that is also another kind of discussion right now between the Quakes community and me also, of what exactly is Mikael Starhays gonna put out for the starting 11. Is he gonna go with the conservative 4-4-2, or is he gonna go with his sort of ideal 4-3-3 formation that he tends to use, or are we gonna do something different? Are we gonna try to go like 4-2-3-1? We're definitely not going 3-5-2. We're definitely not doing what Chris Leach did last season, because it's clear that we just does not have the personality to play free at the back, and we still don't have the personality to play free at the back. So I'm assuming that, you know, we have to, of course, play 4 at the back, but what kind of formation are we going to do in terms of the 4 at the back? And, you know, the players that in the starting 11 there's a lot of question of which player will be in the starting 11 and which one will be out, and whether or not if we can like fit all those players into their desirable kind of spot. I mean, if you look at all over the field right now, besides the goalkeeper situation with the starting 11, there's still a lot of question all around the field. I mean, in the defense area, are we going to do a new kind of center back partnership with Cumming and Quintana, both guys that have never played in the MLS before? And are we going to just move Youngworth up to the central defense mid position, which is his desire, or are we just going to put him back in that center back row? And then of course the fullback situation, are we going to put Salinas on the left, or are we going to put Queberg on the left back? Who exactly is going to be there in the left back position? And then of course in the midfield area, you know, potentially it's going to be Godoy, but then again, is Vako going to be playing in the left mid? And I really don't like the idea of Vako playing in the left mid, because that's not his natural position, and it feels like we just doesn't learn our lesson about how we're playing guys that are designated player, and we just play them out of position. We've been doing this in the last couple of seasons, and it's no wonder why we suck in terms of getting designated player acquisition, and how all our DP player always tends to be the shittest in the league. So I'm really hoping that won't be the case, but most likely it will be. Depends on the formation. And then going up top, question is it going to be just Houston up front, or is it just going to be Wando and Houston in terms of the number 9 partnership? And then of course on the central attacking mid, is it going to be Vako there, or is it just going to be Eriksson, or is it going to be Tommy Thompson? There's just so much question with this team right now, and I'll kind of talk a little bit more about that. I'll probably read I'll definitely read the Reddit page and see what fans kind of say about what kind of starting formation it's gonna be for that opening day. And I'll also read a couple of articles to see which one will most likely fit. But yeah, I'm obviously very excited about this upcoming season, and let me know in the comments below, what do you think is going to happen with this team? Are you very optimistic? The fact that, with this new look that we have gone through this off season and all those players that we have signed, do you think they, of course, will contribute? Or are you kind of being a little bit careful in terms of optimism with the fact that since we brought in so many new players, that chemistry is going to be a little bit of an issue? And I kind of understand that because, we're probably going to have that issue when we bring in just so many new guys that have never played each other, but eventually we'll get that sorted out. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this upcoming season? I know everybody is excited, the season is about to start in about 6 days, but let me know in the comments below, what do you really expect this season? Do you think us just making the playoffs is just acceptable expectation, or do you think that we should have a little bit more ambition and maybe go for top 4 in the league and trying to get a home playoff game so that we can have a chance to advance? And yeah, let me know in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and one more thing, you know how in the MLS Soccer YouTube channel, how they are doing kind of like throughout this whole week, they're just going to at least upload one stream about how they're going to preview how this season is going to look. Well, I'm going to kind of do something similar to that, except I'm not going to be streaming it. Instead, I'm just going to do one video every single day this week that has something to do with not only my San Jose Earthquakes, but also with the rest of the league. Tomorrow I will be doing the Eastern Conference prediction, and I'll do the Western Conference on Wednesday, and I think on Thursday I will do the Quakes preview video, and then on Friday I'll just do the preview video for all the other games on match week number 1. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.